Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Trackside Broadcasting. Hope everyone's had a great week so far. Now it's time to finish it off with some great racing action here tonight. As always, before we get underway, I'd like to thank the Tanzo Racing Group for letting us bring you all the action this season, and to our sponsors, Valhalla Liveries, and us here at Trackside Broadcasting. Also, make sure to share the YouTube link to your friends and family so more people can support your favourite drivers who are racing this evening. To begin with, we are on race 3 of 8 tonight here at Watkins Glen, just outside of New York in the USA. We've had a couple of great races so far this season, and I'm really looking forward to seeing another one tonight. But before we begin, joining me in the booth, as always, will be my right-hand man in broadcasting. Let's get him in here with me and say our hellos. Good evening, Gaz. How are we today?
Good evening, Jimmy. We are very, very good. It's still technically the weekend. I'm still in a good mood. Haven't quite got into that weekday momentum yet. So no, I'm absolutely fantastic, mate. How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very good. Thank you very much.
Good man, good man. Great track tonight. Watkins came, mate. We're back over here, back in New York, back over in the United States of America. One of my favourite places to be. And no, we're over here with the Toyotas this week, mate. It's going to be a good one, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, we've got something a little interesting going on, as you can see weather-wise on the screen at the moment. What's your thoughts on it?
Oh, in my past experience, I've mentioned before, I've lived in the States. I had some absolutely fantastic weather out there, but when I tell you, Jimmy, it rains. It really does rain out there, so it's gonna make for an interesting race tonight. Just look at the weather out there. The visibility that we can see really low compared to what we can normally see out there, mate. But my old mantra when it comes to a wet race, Jimmy, it just makes it even more exciting, and I'm hoping we get that tonight.
I know, like you just got to hope that everyone's practicing the wet, but if they
No.
haven't and they are listening, don't break on the racing line. That's all you need to know. You're pretty much sorted.
Let's see who has and hasn't been practicing. Obviously, we've been looking in for a little while now. As you can see behind us talking here, guys, we've got the qualifying going on in a minute. So we're still under 5 minutes into that. We'll have a little look down at that very shortly. But again, we're on for a great race today. I'm hoping, Jimmy. It's a brilliant track. It's Watkins Glen. It's one of those proper classical tracks, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, it's the short version of Watkins Glen. It's called, well, this is the Cup layout they call it. So you've basically got four kind of main corners, and then you've got like a little bus stop down the back straight. So there's not really a lot going on. So it's one of those tracks that really relies on getting that draft of the cars in front, working with them, getting that bump draft going. And I think that's how you kind of win the race. You kind of work as a pack, and on that last lap, you really go for it, and then that's when you fight for a good win. So you should hopefully see a lot of chopping and changing, and yeah, interesting strategy because not really seen people bump drafting in the wet before. So I think it's gonna show a new level of skill for the drivers here.
Well, don't forget as well, Jimmy. We've got that. When our second race of the evening, we've got a full reverse grid on that again this week for everybody to witness. So we should probably see some bump drafting there. Because I would imagine those guys who were finishing first in that first race, they're going to be pushing back their way through to get through back to the top of it for the second race as well. We've seen it a couple of times now with a few previous winners from the last couple of weeks there, Jim. We saw it last week with Jack Veazey and with Andrea Maglai, who's currently sitting top of the leaderboard at the moment. They back to back won the first race and came from all the way at the back of the pack to push their way through to get the win on the second one, and that's not the first time they've done that either, mate, this season.
No, I think this is going to be a really tricky track to work your way up through the field on that second race. So yeah, because I mean, the fewer corners there are, it kind of evens out the skill gap, if you know what I mean, and especially with the drafting of the cars in front, it's going to be so difficult to work your way up, and I think that's going to make it so
Yeah.
much more fun. I think it's
Well,
really going to group everyone up together.
well, I completely agree with you, mate. It's going to be something that we won't have to wait too long for. We've got just under 10 minutes left to qualify, mate. But no, just want to. We've had a comment already in our little chat, Jimmy, on YouTube. JDM Jimmy Drift. Good evening, guys. Good evening to you, Jimmy. How you doing? Thank you for joining us tonight, my mate. Who are you here supporting? Who are you looking at this evening, mate? Give us your driver's shout out, and we'll get him out there. Anyone else watching as well? Please do comment along, and let us know who you are backing today. But no,
Yeah,
thanks again, everyone, for joining us here on Trackside, guys.
if you've got any questions about the race or anything that's going on, or if you just want to shout out, oh, you can see the rain really get them already. Yeah, if you got any questions or anyone you want shouting out, just let us know in the YouTube chat, and we'll answer or shout them out.
No, we definitely will. We definitely will. We like seeing these guys having a little bit of support. We try to give them all a bit of support as they go around ourselves, but it definitely helps, I think, when they've got people watching them at home or in friends, family, all that kind of stuff there, Jim, don't you think?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go. Right, before
Nothing
we...
nothing gives you a little bit of extra speed down those straights than
No,
oh, look at
absolutely.
that. Look at
Look
the
at this
drift going
rain
on
is
there.
really going to cause some problems tonight. But I'll tell you what, Jimmy, we'll jump down to trackside very, very shortly. Shall I get the little boring bits out of the way before we do get started,
Yes,
though?
yes.
Shall I
So
remind everybody how it works here in the Tanzo Racing Group?
yeah, let everyone know what's going on this season.
All right, guys, just get this done and out of the way for everybody who might not have been joined us here previously, but this is an 8-week series. We are on race 3 of 8 tonight. Remember, here at Watkins, Glen in the United States. I'm sorry, I will keep doing that all night long. Each weekend, we will open with 30-minute practice, everyone out on track together, getting used to it. 30 minutes, like I said, before there are 10-minute lone qualifying, well, 15-minute lone qualifying sessions, sorry. Drivers get up to a maximum of 3 laps to set their qualifying time with that one. After qualifying is over, we are going in for the standing start this week. I believe we're back to the standing start this week, Jimmy. We had a bit of a rolling one last week. So I think we're back in the standing this week. And then first race, 20 minutes, little 5-minute break, switch everything around, full reverse grid it, back on for the 25-minute race in the second one after that. And straight showdown right to the end there. Do have a little bit of an interesting one coming up for you guys next week as well, but we'll get to that one a little bit later. But Jimmy, now that we've got all that rubbish out of the way that everybody kind of needs to know, but probably gets bored of listening to me every week, shall we have a little look down at trackside and see what's happening?
Absolutely. So let's take a look at what's going on so far. So Andrea leading the time boards at the moment in P1 with a 1:24.2 at the moment. Followed by in second place we got Paul Brown, just 0.2 behind him. Alex Kubulus top 3 in the pros at the moment in qualifying, 0.4 behind Paul Brown. So there's a bit of a big gap there, but I think that's just depending on when people go out, getting used to that rain out there on track, kind of getting everything figured out. I think the problem is the more rain that happens over qualifying, the slower everyone's lap times are going to be. So you had to be real quick going out there, otherwise it's kind of going to scupper you a little bit. Robert Barber currently leading the way in the AMS, P7 overall, but first so far in qualifying, followed by Casper Roost and John Johnston as your top 3 in AMS. So yeah, they are spread out a little bit. I mean, we saw a lot of them having troubles with slipping and sliding and all that lot, and you can really see there's some big puddles starting to form now, especially at the bottom of that elevation there before they go onto the main straight. So it is very, very difficult to, I think we're going to struggle to see anyone setting better lap times at the moment. Possibly a few of the AMs who are a bit further back might be able to get some good times out there.
No, absolutely, absolutely, Jimmy. We've had a couple more comments, mate. We've got Tall Paul 1987. Now, if I remember correctly, and yes, it is. That is Paul Brown's lad, I believe, on his dad's account there. Hoping his dad can get onto the podium or even come first tonight. Well, stick along with us, mate. You never know. He's currently second quickest at the moment in qualifying, so you never know what could happen. Marshmallow, a pleasure as absolute always, my friend. Thank you for joining us again here tonight. Do they get to know the conditions, the weather conditions, before the start of the race, Jimmy?
Yeah, so all the drivers get to know, well, they get to know that there is rain, but they don't get to know when and where it's kind of happening in the race. So they'll know it's a wet race, but they won't know how wet or when the rain is coming. So it's a bit hard to it's a bit hard to kind of adapt and kind of figure out what's going on. But
There
I
you
think
go.
you kind of want to practice for the worst case scenario, really, don't you? And then
Well,
everything beyond that's a bit easier.
Well, JDM Jimmy's shouting back says, "Yeah, Mello, yeah, we do." So he's helped him out. Oh, sorry, I do apologise. Quick apology here, though, Jim. I said Paul Brown's son. It's actually his daughter. I do apologise about that one, darling. Welcome to Trackside. We'll start that one again. Welcome, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully, we can see another good race from your dad tonight. But no, as well, Jim, another one. JDM Jimmy, how much chaos will there be in the first lap? Well, with this much rain out on track, you'd expect quite a lot of it. But just before we answer that question, Jimmy, just one that I wanted to tail off on what you were saying a few minutes ago. The guys that are out there, because the rain has literally been going pretty much since about the first minute, from what I can remember.
But it's the first second of qualifying, it started raining, so
It started instantly, didn't it? Now, but with a lower amount of water out there initially, I'm not expecting any of these guys out here now to really be breaking any of these times because there's a lot more water sitting on this track now.
yeah, I mean, the only people I think really is, I mean, Phil Giles at the back probably has the biggest chance. Possibly Casper Roos being 1.8 off. I mean, if they can get like a good, really good, perfect lap. I mean, maybe not going off track like we're saying there, doing a bit of rallying, but
Lee Martin going a bit off track there, doing a bit of rallycross for us.
yeah.
But no, I think JDM Jimmy raises a good point though. Oh, we're gonna have a lot of chaos in the first race there, Jim.
So just quickly, my good mate John is in the YouTube chat as well. Good evening, John. How you doing?
Ah, is that the oldie geek? Is it?
It is indeed.
Good evening, John. Good evening, mate. Glad to have you here with us. But no, sorry, chaos. First lap. What we thinking?
Well, I mean, depending on how much to get done in qualifying, they might be able to get a little bit of a dry line going. But I think overall, I think we're expecting rain to get heavy between sessions and at the start of the race. So it should be a little bit tricky. I mean, they'll have the cold tires as well, but I imagine everyone is probably going to be taking it as careful as they can through that first couple laps. So
now, Jimmy, you know me. You know me when it comes to racing. We've done a lot of it in the past together. You know I don't go anywhere near a wet race. I just will not do it. I know a couple of these drivers here tonight are also kind of feeling the same, but they've got a bit bigger cojones than I do, and they've stuck it out. But what kind of different things are you thinking in a wet race, mate, compared to like if we were here in the dry, perfect sun, as you'd expect out in the US? How is that going to be different now that it's absolutely chucking it down?
well, I think the big difference is it's going to be wet. But no, the hardest part for them in a race like this is when it's wet. The normal line that you would take in the dry is the worst line to take in the wet, because where the rubber gets on the track and where the tires are going, when rubber gets wet, there's less grip than when tarmac gets wet. So you have to brake and approach the corners off the racing line. So it's easy when you're driving on your own, but on a track like this where you're going to be bump drafting and working as a group, that means there's going to be likely people that are going to be stuck on that wet line. They're going to have that worse grip, and it's going to be a lot more difficult for them as the race goes on. But
So
yeah, I
a
think
lot to think about, really, then, compared
yeah,
to even if you use this track in the dry, like you said, you're not on the same line. You're really rating a different kind of racing, from what I'm gathering from you there, taking from that, Jimmy.
yeah, and we're seeing there as well. They're going really heavy on those curves as they're going round, because track limits are different on the cup layout. You can really just basically use anything that is a grey to put your car on, and yeah, it's gonna when you get over those big curves when they're wet, it's gonna really upset the car. So you got to be extra careful going around there, carrying as much speed as you can. So you got to approach the curves at the right angle, and you got to be really prepared for driving offline. And yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they work as a group. So start of the race looks like it's a dry at the moment, but we could be expecting rain at any second. Safety car going out there, and so it's going to be a standing start. People are lining up on grid. Gaz, would you like to let everyone know the starting order?
Absolutely, absolutely. We've got a clear split today as well, Jim, between the pros and the amateurs. This should make it a little bit easier to read out and let everybody know what everyone's doing. So starting from the top, we've got Andre Maglai. He's in P1 for the pros tonight, starting the way. And Paul Brown in P2, followed by Alex Kublis in P3. Jack Veazey in 4th, Lee Martin in 5th, and Rick Wishon in 6th. Robert Barber, P7 on track, P1 in the AMS, followed by Casper Roos, John Johnson, Joseph Lopez, and Phil Giles rounds out your drivers for the day. So we've got 11 cars with us today, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think it's a good little group. I mean, we've seen over previous races that everyone is really grouped up together. So yeah, it should make it fun and interesting. I want to see how they handle everything together. So remember, first race is going to be a 20-minute race, and then the next race there'll be a 5-minute gap, and then a race after that in reverse grid order. So all the cars I think are just about lining up on track now, and
We've
yep,
got
it's
them all.
definitely it's definitely wet out there. So
Look
Should be
at
very
that
good.
rain. That is going to
And
cause some chaos. I think JDM was right there. JDM Jimmy, mate. He's predicting chaos on the first lap, and I think we might get it.
yeah, and I mean, to be honest, as John also says on the YouTube chat as well, the Toyotas can be a little bit sketchy in the wet, so it's going to make it yeah, very interesting. All right, so all cars are on grid, lights going out. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and away they go. Great start from Andrea there at the front. At the front, poor start from Alex Kubulis, already getting overtaken, but it is a draft track. Everyone's going to be working together. They'll be able to catch up quite a lot. Everyone's favouring that wet line over on the left to get out of that puddle that's on the middle there.
You got
And they're
Lee
taking it
Martin making
very,
two
very
spots.
easy. Yeah, look
Lee
at the
Martin
different lines
making
they're
two
taking.
places from the start, but look at that, Jimmy. That is crazy. The line difference there.
Yeah, I mean, you can really see the actual speed of taking that much slower inside line, but being on a slightly drier bit of the tarmac. Oh, a little bit squirrely going up the corner here. And you can see the amount of water on the inside of that pile on that corner. You're really going to, yeah, you really want to avoid that. Already getting the slipstream working together, and hopefully they can start pushing and forming a nice group. Look like Paul
Lee,
Brown getting a good bit of slipstream, braking quite a bit early. Doesn't quite have the confidence as Andrea going into that first corner. But I think it's better to keep it a bit sensible for those first few laps. You don't really want to be pushing the car too hard and risking anything. We've already got 3 cars going off in 9th, 10th, and 11th at the back of the track, all with slow down penalties here. So clearly, not fans of the wet, but at least they get to serve the penalties together and to stay together. It's quite
there you go. Keep that little pack at the back or group together. A couple of big moves from you there right at the start of the race. So Lee Martin going from 5th up to 3rd there just before we hit that first corner, and John Johnston dropping down from 9th to 11th towards the end of the about halfway around that first lap there, Jimmy. So a couple of big moves so far, but everybody else has pretty much stayed in the same place. Right as I say that, Lee Martin jumped up above Paul Brown into P2 there. Jack
yeah, they're
Veazey
still
jumping
fighting
up to
together though.
P3 on Paul Brown as well. So Paul Brown's had a little bit of a slowing down there on his own accord. Wonder why, but I wonder if that's just line, like you said, or maybe the track conditions are really playing havoc with him today.
Yeah, he took the inside line, but I think he backed out because he wasn't quite enough alongside. And I think it's sensible to kind of nip in where you can into the line there, just so you can get as much speed out of the corner. Because if you're going in too shallow and then it's such a long straight until the next corner, you kind of you don't want to compromise your entry into the straights. So it's going to just slow you down too much. Already seeing a little bit of bump drafting going on there between Rick Wishon and Alex Kubulis, just pushing each other along. Hopefully they can catch up to Paul Brown, and Paul Brown can catch up to Jack and Lee in front of them. Lee goes so quick through there, a little bit squirrel on the end. He's pushing that car as hard as he can, but he's got a bit of catching up to do. A second and a half off of Andrea there. Sorry, Jack was pushing the car, not Lee. Lee's a little bit further ahead.
Your friend in the comments raises a good point there. The older geek again. Sorry, I can't remember the name that you said to him there, Jim. But he says no. The GR86s can be a little bit unpredictable in the wet too. Hard to be confident in this car. And I've got to agree with him there. You've got to be confident when you're flying around these tracks in these cars, especially in these conditions. But the 86, them Toyotas, they're just really hard to predict, aren't they?
I mean, in the dry, they can be pretty stable. I mean, custom setups seem to make a bit of a difference, but now they're all on the same setups this season,
No,
so
I'm
they're
talking
all in
about
the
in the
same
wet though,
place.
Jim.
But
I'm
yeah,
talking about
I was going to get
stability
into
in the
that.
wet. Yeah.
Yeah, in the dry they feel almost too stable, but in the wet, yeah, they can be a little bit sketchy. And there you go, you can see more rain coming in here, especially at the beginning of the straight. That's going to cause some big puddles later on. But yeah, the more the cars drive around to keep on the same line, should create a little dry line from the heat of the cars, pushing that water out of the way with the tyres, and giving them a little bit of grip. But makes it difficult to overtake at that point because you're going to have to pick either going onto a less favourable line to get the moves done. But yeah,
No,
little gaps
absolutely.
starting to form here. I'm quite surprised. I think I'd have thought more people would be pushing and working together, but no, they seem to be. Oh, Rick Wishon, they're getting a slow down penalty. Seems to have cut the course a little bit, and yeah, you can see him dropping down. Casper Roost, sorry, with the penalty now, so he might have to drop down a little bit as well. Rick Wishon go the wrong way.
Oh, Rick. Sorry, that's not what you want to see, is it?
Sorry, I
Let's have
just
a
saw
look
another
again
car
at
there
that.
in front of him was facing the wrong way. Is that Paul Brown gone round as well?
Potentially, because it looks like he's dropped down to about 7th on the grid at the minute. But let's have a quick look at Rick Wishon. So he comes across the curb here, cuts across the grass.
Yeah, he went in way too quick into that corner. and then on the wet, you're kind of breaking off line, goes too quick into the next one because you couldn't slow down in time. Oh, they hit each other. Oh, that's
That
why they
is
spin
very.
around.
I believe that is Paul Brown as well. There, Jimmy, the car in front as well. So that might explain what's happened there. Paul Brown in the pits at the moment, getting that meatball flag there. So he's obviously got himself a little bit of damage. But not a great start to the race. Not a great first 5 minutes into his first 20-minute race. So for Paul Brown, he's took himself all the way from second place down to back of the pack at the minute. And him and Rick are both in the pit lane now, Jim.
Yeah, just for people at home, the black and orange flag that you can see next to Paul Brown's name at the end there, that basically means you've got too much damage. You have to come in and repair the car. So it's a bit disappointing, but I mean that's the joy of racing in the wet. He should have I believe they do have a fast repair. So when they come into the pits, they can get an instant fix to their car. But because he crashed outside of the pit lane and wasn't able to drive back, he had to tow the car back to the pit lane, and he's got to wait that tow time. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's going to be a little bit of an extra penalty there, kind of. The way you look at it for him, you're having to wait all that time, won't it?
but we know he's a quick driver. I mean, he qualified on P2 after all, but he will be starting the next race in first place.
That is true. That is true. Now, I was just having a little flick through for our previous races there. Paul Brown currently P3, I believe, is his highest podium finish so far, and that was last week at Suzuka. So he'll be looking for an improvement. Maybe he'll be able to get a podium off of that one. JDM Jimmy though, just on about the weather there. He said he's quite happy that Donny Park will be in the dry tomorrow night, Jim.
Yeah,
What,
I mean,
JDM, you don't want a wet race at Donny Park? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
yeah, I imagine that track would be very sketchy in the wet. I mean, you got to go real fast through a lot of those corners. But no, you can see.
It's sketchy in the dry, let alone the wet.
Yeah, you can see that spray and that water coming off the cars in front, and yeah, this is such a fun part of the track, just going through this little bus stop here. But it's so difficult to see that corner, and you can see those big puddles right where you want to be hitting that curb. So that curve's gonna be wet, big puddles. Very difficult for the drivers there.
No, it really, really is. It really, really is. I love those little shots inside the cockpit with the drivers there.
Yeah, I do like it, especially when it's having a good battle and you look at those inside cockpits and you see people fighting together. Yeah, it's
Well,
a really good camera angle. But you can still
I tell
see
you, I
this
tell you,
Giants race though. Just quickly, people still taking different lines through different corners, and it seems to be working out about the same. Getting that wider line, you carry more speed, but you got to be a bit more careful because of the rain. And you get that slower line on the inside, not going wide, but you're slower, but then you get more speed out of it because you're on that drier line. And it's interesting tactics.
no, very interesting. Oh, you have to ask yourself, though, Jimmy, like 7.5 minutes into this race, nearly 8 minutes, still attempting different lines. What's going to be the reason for that so far into a race? Because surely you would have found it by now. Like, is it water sitting out on track taking over your previous line maybe that's getting in your way there, having to force you to change, or is it just possibly just trying something different just to see if it's a little bit quicker for you?
Um, I think at this point you kind of want to go with it's the devil you know, isn't it? You want to
Yeah.
go for that line that you know is working for you, and it's a bit late on to be practicing different lines when you're especially like we got here with everyone working together as a group. Yeah, it's going to be a bit difficult to pick start working with different lines if you don't know what to expect because you might end up hitting that wall and you don't want to be hitting that wall.
No, absolutely not. But talking about who don't want to hit the wall at the minute, Phil Giles, who we've just been looking at for the past couple of moments here, he's caught up to Joseph Lopez and Rob Barber up ahead of him. P3 in the AMs at the moment, P7 out on track. He's gained some time on the two of them in front of him.
Yeah, he's doing well there. He's doing well, and
Keeps
yeah,
popping his nose out alongside Joseph to let him know that he's there. I think he's thinking about it, just not quite finding the speed out on track to get that move done just yet though.
I mean, at the same time, he might just be sticking his nose out, which you might find a lot when you're kind of working as a group in racing, because the amount of spray coming off the cars and the rain coming off the cars in front, you can't see what you're doing. And especially with the fog as well that they've got, which you can see. I mean, it's a little bit muted with the camera we've got here, but for those races, it could be a lot more difficult to actually see where those breaking points are and so where you're going to be fighting. But oh, look at this camera angle there. You can see that spray coming off those cars in front, getting so close to that little wall that sticks out on the left there as well. I mean, it's got to be sketchy, especially when you haven't got full amount of grip. But I think everyone's going to have that confidence now. I mean, we're 7 laps into the race, 10 minutes in, 10 minutes to go. I think everyone's going to be confident with a bit more confident with driving and knowing where the braking markers are and knowing where to brake and where to turn in, see how they handle this corner.
No, absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what Phil Giles can do here because he's impressed me so far out today on track, and he's working his way back up there. So looking like he might try and get that move done fairly soon, but at the moment sitting P3 out in the end P7. So just to remind everybody where everybody's sitting at the moment. Andrea Maglai is sitting out. Yeah, no, Andrea Maglai is sitting out in P1 at the moment. He's got nearly a 3.5 second lead to we know a very fast Jack Veazey who's sitting down in P2 at the moment, followed by Lee Martin, just under a second and a half behind him. And that's your podium spot currently for the first race here tonight. Alex Tubular is at P4 at the moment, followed by Rob Barber, P5 on track, P1 for the AMS at the moment, with Joseph Lopez and Phil Giles, who are pretty much side by side at this moment in time. Just behind him, quickly see what happens with these two. But I think Phil Giles gets the move. Yeah, he gets the move done. Tucks it down on the inside, puts himself right in front there of Joseph Lopez, dropping him down to P7, P3 in the AMS with Casper Roost, P8 with John Johnson, P9, followed by Rick Wishon and Paul Brown, who obviously had that little coming together earlier, sitting a little bit away at the moment. Really nice move there by Phil Giles there to get himself up another position.
Yeah, getting another one at the moment now, getting that inside line. That's going to be really good for him because it's going to be that slightly drier, slightly better grip on that inside line. And yeah, he just gets further ahead, easy, gets that move done. And
there you go. I
he's
thought
going to be
the
leading a
move
little
was
back.
coming. Yeah, well, I thought the move was coming there, Jim, and perfect time to just sit above the three of them there on the camera and just watch it happen, really.
Oh, we've had a nasty accident with John Johnson. We have to go back and take a look at that one in a second.
Yeah, he's cut himself up a meatball flag here. I wonder what has happened with John Johnson down in P10 at the moment. We'll have a quick look now, Jim, actually. So that we can see him there looking like he's pinging into a wall. Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Oh,
really interesting place to be having to crash because that's kind of
has he
flat
just
out
lost
straight
it?
line there.
If we
So
can take that back a little bit more than where we were. See, it
so he
talks
gets
through
that
it.
speed
So,
coming up, turning right, going. It just
oh,
loses the back end. Oh, that's really interesting. Maybe he was just overturning the car, hit a puddle, and then because you kind of want to be a little bit further over to the left or to the center of the track, and then yeah, the back end just goes. Interesting.
no, very interesting. Very interesting here is jump back on with these three though, Jimmy at the minute. Joseph Lopez and Rob Barber having a little scrap for P2 in the AMS at the moment, P6 out on track, and Rob Barber going to come back and get it. Yeah, he takes it back from Joseph Lopez right there.
Just quickly, YouTube chat. Catch you in a bit, John. Thank you for joining us.
Good evening. Yeah, John, have a good one, sir, and have a good one at work. That is a terrible time to be starting work at the end of the weekend there, if you ask me.
Well, he's working as he does a pub quiz on a nice Sunday evening, so there are worse jobs to be to working on a Sunday.
Very nice. Now, is he one of those like pub quiz, I'm gonna say quiz masters who always has the pint in his hand while he's reading the questions, or is he a boring one who doesn't?
I imagine John's probably got a cheeky pint in hand.
Good lad, good lad. Now, Jimmy, I was going to save it for the second part of our events for this evening, but you know I can't hold back when it comes to a bit of an onboard. So I want you to have a think about someone. We're going to jump on board with them real soon.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Veazey seems to be gaining a lot on Andrea at the moment, so we could do a little on-board with him at the start of this lap and take a look at what's going on just while the field is spread out a little bit. So going through turn one, going flat out, using all the track, going as far as you can, tapping that wall a little bit. I don't think he meant to hit that wall, but that just shows how much they are pushing the car at the moment. While Alex Kublis are actually setting the fastest lap on track with a 1:27. So you get flat out all the way up here. This is where the John had that little accident earlier and hit the wall, but yeah, it's just this massive straight kind of favoring just off the line. You can see it's drying out a little bit from those cars driving over the track at the moment. And then we've got the bus stop here, so getting heavy on the brakes, getting onto those curves, get as close as you can to that wall, using trying to shorten distance through the bus stop as you can and carry as much speed as you go through. Then you get this beautiful, lovely flowing right hander, such a long corner here. and then just goes into another straight using all the track as he can just to carry as much of minimum speed through that corner as possible. And then we've got 2 more corners, and that is the end of the lap. It's a short lap, but it is a tricky one because of the weather. So we've got this little left-hander here. It's very flowing kind of corner here, so like get on the power very early, go over the curbs. Careful not when you go over those curbs not to lose the back end, and again through here, going a little bit wide, get off that apex to avoid that puddle in the rain, using all the track on the left-hand side and back on the straight. Couple little taps to the wall there from Jack. I think he's really pushing the car to catch up to Andrea, but in the end, he cost himself 0.8 of a second in that lap. But what's happened between Alex Kubelis here? So he's going through on the wet. That's turn 1. Turned in very hard there, so maybe the back end kicked out a little bit more than he wanted to. Yeah, back end's going, and
exactly
then
that.
it's just into the wall. Bounces off the wall though. Doesn't
No
look like a
damage.
lot of damage, but yeah,
Well, I haven't seen that he's been called in or anything, so I think he's got away with that one. John Johnson though, was called in while we was on your onboard there, Jimmy, to get himself a black flag, so he's currently in the pits as we speak. So potentially maybe an incident limit reached there, because I don't think he was really driving with anyone. So we'll get that one confirmed a little bit later on for you. But no, only one out on track. Rick Wishon though, setting the fastest time now, 1:26.8 there, Jim. Fastest lap so far the day down in P9th. Oh, I'm sorry, speeding on the pit exit. Naughty boy, John. You know the rules. Come on.
yeah, just switching that pit limit off. That's that little bit too early. So yeah, you want to get as much speed as you can around here. Do everything as quick as you can, but sadly, that milliseconds can cost you a good 30 odd seconds here, which is a bit
No,
of
it
a
really
shame.
can.
But
It really can. But no, Jimmy, just looking at the times, like I said a moment ago, Rick Wishon currently setting the fastest lap out here. Just before before we went on the air and we was having a look at the guys out in practice when it was a little bit drier, we were looking at low 121s. That was the quickest we were going around the track in the dry. So we're looking at 126s that they're only just breaking into 16 minutes into the race when it looks like the rain has eased a little bit as well. Didn't see much of the wipers going on there that they are now, but when we was on board a moment ago, but rain really does make a difference, doesn't it? To everything, to the way
yeah,
you
but
drive, the lines, like you said, the timings out on track. There's 5-6 seconds difference there in a tiny bit of drizzle compared to what it was at the start of this race.
yeah, with that rain drying up and those dry lines forming, the lap times are going to drop faster and faster as they go around. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if we're going to get any more rain between now and the next race as well. So there'll be a little 5-minute gap after this race. Got a couple more laps left to go, and then it is done. I believe that's about 2 laps left. And yeah, be interesting to see if we get maybe a dry race for the next one, and that should make strategies a little bit more interesting. See how everyone works their way through the field, because yeah, John Johnson now with his incident is starting from first place in the next race, followed by Paul Brown and Rick Wishon, 2 very, very quick drivers there.
No, very, very quick. Like we said, Rick Wishon's got the fastest time with that. I mean, at 1:26.7, I believe it was 26.8, possibly. Sorry, when that came up a moment ago. So no, it should be an interesting last few minutes of this race, Jim. Just to remind everybody though, Andrea's still leading the way at the moment, followed by Jack Veazey and Lee Martin. That's your podium spots for the pros at the moment. Alex Kubelis in P4 currently. Not had a lot to do today, sat himself there for quite a while. So he's had a pretty quiet race for Alex today, which is a bit strange. But no, Phil Giles follows him there, P5 on track, P1 in the AMS, followed by Rob Barber and Joseph Lopez, who they've all split up a little bit now, a few seconds between the 3 of them. So I think that their fight's pretty much done unless one of them can pull it back in the next minute or so. Anyway, we've got Casper Roos after them, P8 at the moment on track, followed by Rick Wishon, Paul Brown, and John Johnson, who I believe is still in the pit. So I think he's possibly called time on this first race.
Yeah, I mean, by the time he gets back out and going, the race is pretty much going to be over. So yeah, a bit
Come
of a
on,
shame.
John. Come on, John. You know the rules, though. You know the rules. You can't be speeding. You know the rules better than anybody else.
Oh no, he
Oh
is
no,
getting back out. He's getting back out. There we go. There we
sorry,
go.
John. Sorry, John. I didn't mean to offend there, mate. Just it's great to see you back out on track. I say it every week, Jim. We'd love to see the same amount of cars finish this race as we do start it.
Yeah, I was just thinking though, something you touched on briefly when you were giving a rundown on the drivers a second ago. Alex Kubelis on his own there. I think it's the first time in I don't know how long. I think pretty much since we've been broadcasting that we've seen Alex Cubulus not battling with someone the entire race. Because usually he's got someone like Denand with him, or the rain is starting again. Usually he's got someone like Denand with him,
Yeah,
and
it was
they're like
Denand
battling
last
the
week,
entire
wasn't it, in
time. Yeah,
Suzuka? Yeah, him and
and
Denand all last week in
and looking at
Suzuka.
mistake here, and yeah, it's
I
been
think I think it, I think it's just been Denand, to be fair. Denand and Alex Cubulus who've been fighting us so far this season, but obviously we've got no Denand with us to see, tonight. So that's what I'm saying. When I was saying it a minute ago, he's had a pretty quiet evening. Normally we're looking at that purple peril all over the place every single other minute on cams when he's fighting.
all right. So there we go. So just coming across the line now. So this will be the final lap. I think the last couple corners really left to go, and yeah, you can see Andrea still pushing there.
Yeah,
So
just
yeah,
going
this
past
is
the back
yeah.
marker
Actually,
of
no, this is
John.
the last lap. They just started the last lap on that last few seconds. So here we go. I mean, Andrea's had a great race, but Jack Veazey, I mean, he's definitely figured out something in the rain. He's definitely driving
Yeah,
quicker and quicker, and he is catching up. But Andrea has been flawless
I think the thing with
race.
Andrea and Jack is I think Andrea had such a good start to this race. You called it right from lights out, and he had a phenomenal start as well, right at the start of this race. But he had such a good start to this overall. There you go, James, coming over the line P1. Congratulations, Andrea, for that one. Jack Veazey in P2. With Lee Martin kind of come over the line is your P3 for the pros. But no, I think he just gave Jack not enough time to do too much once it did start to click for him there. Sorry, just wanted to follow on what I was saying a moment ago.
Yeah, Phil Giles not too far off the back of Alex Cubulus there, followed by Robert Barber, just going about to come across the line any second with Casper Ruth just behind him, Joseph Lopez as well. I mean, those two have been, I don't know if you've caught it, but they've been drifting around a lot of these corners in the rain, definitely struggling to find their footing a little bit, but Rick Wishon just coming along here to finish off the last driver out on track. And yeah, that is the order. So starting next race, obviously, little 5 minute gap for the drivers, and then yeah, we'll be on to race two of the evening.
Looking forward to it. That was a pretty interesting start of that to that first race there, James. Like you said, it was great start by absolutely everybody. Andrea had an absolute flyer there. But no, looking at it, that's your finishing order. So Andrea finishing P1, followed by Jack Veazey and Lee Martin in P3, Alex Cubulus P4, with Phil Giles P5 on track P1 for the AMs, Rob Barber P2 and Casper Ruus P3, Joseph Lopez behind them in P8 with Rick Wish on P9, Paul Brown in P10 and John Johnson P11. And now we know what we got to swap it all around, Jim. So do you want to let everybody know the starting order?
Yeah, so John Johnston will be leading the way overall, followed by Paul Brown and Rick Wishon be your podium at the start. And then it's basically the reverse. Well, I mean, it's not basically, it is the reverse order of the grid we see right now. So it's going to be an interesting one because we've seen that Jack has been very precise and careful with his overtakes this season so far. So starting from the back, I mean, in the wet, can you really afford to be sort of taking your time, like working your way out through the field? I think you're gonna have to be a little bit more aggressive. Not too aggressive, you don't want to cause a crash, obviously, but you've got to take those opportunities while you can, because if you get stuck behind some slow drivers for too long, that gap really can build up. We saw at the end there. I mean,
Yeah.
you see the gaps here: 3 seconds, 8 seconds, 17 seconds, 19 seconds off the leader, 26,
No,
31.
I think you haven't got to worry too much with someone like Jack Veazey though, James. We've seen it previously when, like I said, he's finished P1 and then back of the pack. I think this is the first time he's not finishing P1. That he'll make his way through. He always bides his time. He does it at the right time. He does it clean. He does it fair. He does it hard. He does a great overtake, usually on everybody else out on track. It'd be really interesting. But with a couple of those guys like Paul Brown and Rick Wishon, who we know was very fast at the end, towards the end of that first race, with those guys sitting out near the very top of the pack with John Johnson leading the way, you don't know if it's gonna be as easy for those guys coming from the back to try and get back near the front with fast guys already up there. Yes, they've had the disadvantage in the first race that puts them down there, but the upside to that, as we know, is you're starting much higher up the grid for that second race, for that 25-minute race.
Yeah, and I mean, he said he doesn't really need to take his time getting those overtakes done. Uh, well, you said he can take his time. I don't know. I struggle to think so because if you get two people fighting in front of you, and yeah, you're forced to go off onto a line that you don't really want to be on, and you got to be extra careful because you don't really people's braking zones are going to be less predictable in the wet, so it's going to slow you down a lot more. So yeah, I don't know. I think he's going to have to push a little bit harder on those first few opening laps than he used to. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see because obviously he's the guy behind the wheel, and he's going to have his own plan in his head ready to go. I mean, he's obviously we're
No,
on our
no,
third week now, so
j-
he's used to starting from the back on that second race.
no. That's what I was getting. I just wanted to make sure it come across clearly there, Jim. Is all I'm saying is we know V is a clean driver. He's a very fast. He's a very hard racing driver. He makes those overtakes when he knows that he can. There's no real. There is obviously risk with doing it every single time. And I'm not saying he's boring by any means, but he knows when he can get the move done and he makes the move happen. That's what I was getting at with that one. So I just think it'll be quite interesting though with the likes of Rick Wishon sitting at the top near there when he does come up through the pack. If he does come up through the pack, it'd be hard to see that he doesn't, judging by the first three races that we've had so far this season. Well, first two races over before this one, but no, if history does repeat itself, Andrea and Jack Veazey should be fairly near the top of that pack about midway through this race, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, Paul Brown, I think is going to be the one that I'm going to have my eye on this race. I think most of all, starting from obviously he finished at the back, so he's going to be starting right up at the front this time round, and along with Rick Wisham, so they're going to be fighting and sort of pushing their way. I mean, they're going to have to be very careful how they fight because obviously they're fighting for position and the potential win of the race. They've both got the biggest advantage going into this race, but it is 25 minutes. It's a long time. They're going to have to play it sensible, and I think they're
All
going to
right,
have to, in their heads, choose one of them to lead the pack, and
all right,
to
okay. No, completely get you, Jim. But we are coming up to that 5 minute mark, so the cars are going to be lining back out in a second. But just before we do that, and the cars get to that, Jimmy, we do it every single week now. I want you to give me before we get to, we'll say, the 20-minute mark. So by the 20-minute mark, I want you to have in your head locked down. And this is one for you guys in the chat and everyone at home watching along as well to get along board with us with. I want to hear your driver of the day. And this week, I'm going to give you the pro class.
you want me to pick my favorite pro?
Driver of the day, favorite pro for today by about that 20-minute mark of the race. And remember, everyone at home watching along with us and in the comments, let us know around about that time as well. But let us know who you're backing for this second race as well, guys. Give them another shout out. Let us know if it's changed or anyone new that's jumped in with us since the start of this one. Let us know who you're backing. But yeah, Jimmy, I want your pro driver of the day by the 20-minute mark of this race when the voting will close, as they say in the F1.
Google can do. I mean, that rain looks a bit heavier than bit heavier than last time, and
That rain looks abysmal.
yeah, with puddles already on track as well, I think that's going to be an interesting start for the drivers. So they're all lining up on grid now, and as soon as they are, we'll call the lights, and then away they go. There you go. One light, two lights, three lights, four lights, five lights, and they are off. Casperou's getting a little bit of a slow start there. Rick Wishon, no, Rick
Paul
Wishon
Brown
getting a really, really good start off the line there. Same with Paul Brown and John Johnson there getting a bit of a slow one, but he isn't. These people are not in his fight. I don't think he'll mind it too much. And yeah, you can see two different lines immediately at the start. You don't really want to be riding that curve on the inside because it's going to be very, very wet, very, very slippery, and it's going to cost you a lot of time. And you can see grouping up there how they're going to handle going side by side through this windy little bit section. Cold tyres, yeah, you can see Lee Martin going a little bit wide there at the start. Needs to find his footing and get the tyres up to temperature before they go. But he hasn't really lost too many places because of where he started the race. So hopefully he can get back in that pack.
There you go. Lee Martin just dropping down to P11 now there, Jim. But no, that was an absolutely great start from Paul Brown and Rick Wishon right at the start of this race. John Johnson slipping down to P3.
Can he hold it?
And
Can
that's
he hold it? Can he
Paul
hold it?
Brown. No, he's not held it, Jimmy.
He's out the wall. He's out the wall, but if he can get it going, he's still at the back of the pack. And he'll be
He's still
basically
in
having
race.
the same race as Lee Martin and Robert Barber. So
That is really unfortunate because what I was just saying is he had an absolute great start to the race, and then that's happened right as we're looking at him there. So what has come on here? A little bit of a fight between him and Joseph Lopez, a little
oh,
bit coming together.
yeah, Robert Barber almost driving as if he just can't see the other guy's car there. Ah, that's a bit of an issue. Yeah, he was
Rob Barber goes
definitely
around as
parked
well.
alongside.
Just looked like he was coming back at Joseph Lopez there a little bit when he came back in on one side of the corner there, Jim. Looked like he came a little bit over, a little bit too aggressively there for my liking. But no, I'm sure the marshals will have a little look at that. But Paul Brown, Rob Barber taking a very different route there around that corner, puts himself down to P10 and P11 at the moment. So Rick Wish on P1. Alex Kubler absolute flew up P2 now, Jim. He's had a great start to this race, and we're only 2
Oh,
laps in.
John Johnson just getting on the curbs there and just losing it a little bit. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's so sketchy. I think he slightly overheated his tires from just wobbling about a little bit too much through his first couple laps. But yeah, I don't think we want to particularly read out Daughter Brown's comments in the YouTube section there. Hopefully, Paul can have a better result this this time round. Yeah, I mean, he was
I've
flying at the
just read
start, and
it.
yeah, it's horrible. But he's a quick driver, and like he's already gained 3 seconds on Robert there, so he'll be back in that fight. I mean, it's 25 minutes to go. Well, 25-minute race, 2 minutes to go, and is that Joseph Lopez having a spin as well? Let's go back and take a look at that and see what's happened there. Going through that tricky chicane bit, he's going a little bit wide on entry. I think he tries
Oh,
to overcorrect himself,
that's
and
Casper Rooster on board with at the moment. Nope, we're going to
oh,
swap it to back to Casper. No, sorry, yeah, back to Casper.
oh, it's Casper
So,
Ruud spin around, and then Joseph Lopez tried to get past him. Oh, and
oh,
then spins as
he
well.
loses the back end. Does Andrea come through? Andrea comes through there. So no issues for him. Oh, these guys are slipping all over the place. This rain is causing absolute carnage. It's completely changed at the top as well. Alex Kubula's come all the way through now to P1, just at your fastest lap of the day, a 1:30.6 currently of this race is your fastest lap. Sorry, not the fastest lap of the day. Rick Wishon down to P2, but again, great start from him coming up from P3, I believe it was. But Rick Wish on P2. Jack Veazey now gets himself up into P3, so he has not left it long at all. 3.5 minutes and he's already back up on the podium spots. I did kind of expect it, Jim, and we did kind of say it. So we'll see what
Yeah,
he does. Phil Giles just behind Jack Veazey there. Within a couple of attempts at the moment in these conditions, you should be really careful. But P4 on track, P1 in class at the moment. Andrea's coming through just behind them as well in P5, so he's not too far behind, about a second and a half off Phil Giles and Jack Veazey just up ahead of them. Should catch that time up with them two fighting. Rob Barber, P2, P6 out on track at the moment. A little bit of an incident earlier, getting himself back up there though. Not too bad. Lee Martin following just behind him, the pro piece down to P7, followed by John Johnson. Started his second race in P1 down to P8. But Paul Brown, P9 just behind him with Casper Roost and Joseph Lopez. We just saw take that spin round each of them a second ago down in P10 and P11. It has all changed there, Jimmy, in the first couple of minutes of that race.
yeah. I mean, just to I think I'm just gonna say what we were all thinking. And where the heck did Alex Hubris come from? Just out of
Alex
nowhere,
Hughes.
suddenly there's P1 and the second ahead of everyone else. But
Well, I was shocked because I looked up and he was in P3, and I was just about to say what it was, and then we cut to something else, and I looked up again. He's in P1. He was just about to set the fastest time there, and he's had it took off him twice now. Andrea McGloy, 1:29.1, setting your fastest lap of the race down in P5 at the moment, P4 overall in the AMS today currently. But these guys are getting a little bit quicker there, Jimmy. A little bit quicker than we saw a little
yeah,
earlier.
definitely learned a couple things about how to drive it in the wet on that first race. Phil Giles, though, giving Jack a run for his money. We saw on that previous lap, sorry, you were speaking, so I didn't get to call it out in time, but those were battling into the bus stop, and I think it caused Jack to go a little bit wide, lose position, and get a slow down penalty. So he has dropped behind, but he's definitely got the pace to get in front of Phil, but clearly Phil is not going to give up that position very easily. He definitely wants that P3 overall, but he's still leading P1 in the AM division. And yeah, he's just enjoying a really good race. With Paul Brown as well, he was what 5 seconds off of John last lap, and now he's getting
Up
past
into,
him.
there you go.
So
Up into P8. Literally, as you said it, he flew past him there, Jimmy.
yeah, he's got a little bit of a gap now, just under 10 seconds to the next pro. but he's definitely lapping one of the quickest on track at the moment. So it'd be good to see him get back up the field because there are people really battling out there. Phil and Jack, look at that, bumper to bumper, having a proper fight. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Phil looking on the inside there. There you go. As I say it, just to get that move on Jack as well. Really, really have that battle done with him, getting his
Is he?
money's worth this evening.
Is he going to get it done and make it stick though, Jim? I
He
think
did
he might
all
do it. He does. Forces Jack a little bit wide. Touches that brake slightly. Obviously, Phil didn't need to. Phil,
I was so worried
absolutely
it's just gonna
phenomenal
slam him
there.
against the wall.
No, I think Jack held it just right. I did see the brake light stab on for just a second, so he took it as far as I think he possibly could there, Jim. But no, Phil Giles keeping that P3 overall and P1 out in the AMS. He's got a few cars buffering him between him and Rob Barber sitting in P2 at the AMS. He's down in P7 at the moment. But I think Phil Giles is loving life up there with the rest of the pros at the minute.
Yeah, he's definitely giving
He's
them a run
having
for their money. But
he's having a
also
great
his
time.
battling is put Andrea in the mix as well. Andrea did back out just before the yeah, who else was clenched? Haha, JDM Jimmy in the YouTube chat. Yeah, I we were all.
One of them. He goes around.
Yeah, I think we all tend stuff a little bit there. I was worried, but I mean, I gotta say that's good quality driving from Phil. I mean, if we've got time, I'd love to go back and take a look at that little battle. But I mean, I think they're gonna give us a little bit more of a show for the rest of it. And
Oh, here you go, Jimmy. I
there you
think
go.
you might get your wish.
So
So
let's
there you
see.
go. Phil Giles comes
Go
to the
side
right
by
hand side of
side.
that
Gets a nice
VZ.
line.
VZ
Avoids
out on the
that
left.
apex to keep more speed. Really starts forcing VZ over as much as he can. Look how close they get to that tile.
Oh, that was close. That was so close.
I think Jack had to back out a little bit on that one, but he's given us a good show there. But all
But
that's
he's
doing as well, at Cubulus, running away with it. So is Rick Wishon as well. But yeah, I mean,
no, that was that was definitely. I think I was nearly clenched as hard the second time around there, Jim. Watching it back on that replay, that was so tight. But I said it. I saw it at the time when it happened. He just had to touch on those brakes. I think at the last possible second, just to avoid hitting into that wall. Took it absolutely as far as he could, and Phil Giles just kept the move done. No issues, no incidents. But Jack's going straight back at him. Look at him right now, right on the back of him here, Jim. Less than 2 tenths behind Phil in P3 at the moment. There's a fight to be had here still, I think.
yeah,
Look
there's
at
a
that
nice
rain
little
as well.
onboard. Yeah, you can really see the big puddles on the ground. That rain's coming in,
There you
fighting side
go.
by side. I mean, Phil getting that inside line there. He's going to be able to get on the brakes and carry that extra speed on the slower line a bit more, and allows him to battle even better. Riding that curb, like I think that just slowed him down a little bit too much because those curves are slippy. Jack getting ahead now, which is going to give Phil that slipstream going into the next straight, and I imagine Phil's probably going to be making a move up through the bus stop as we get round to it. Joseph Lopez, though, a little dinged up on the front. I think he's had a little bit, a couple of comings together, and that might
Yeah,
have been from the spin earlier on, wouldn't it? Yeah, that
he
probably
took, yeah, he
him
took
in.
the ball, didn't he?
Yeah,
Not
where's
enough, not
Paul
enough
Brown at
to
the
win.
moment?
Paul Brown P8 at the moment.
Yeah, he's not been able to gain as much on Lee because it was 10 seconds before, and now it's getting up to 12 seconds here. So I think he's struggling a little bit in that open air. I think because everyone's kind of got that slipstream off the car in front, they can sort of work together and start pulling away. Phil Giles getting so close up the bumper
I was to
of.
say, you're talking about slipstream. Look at Phil Giles and Jack Veazey's there as they come down that straight.
He's basically pushing him along at that point. I wouldn't be surprised if they were bump drafting a little bit to go a bit quicker. Andrea, though, getting right up on Phil now. He's going to definitely want to get that move done. Going around the outside, carrying so
Very
much more speed
fast around
through.
the outside.
Yeah, and because of how big that outside is and the drier line, it allows him to just get the move done. I mean, it's difficult corners. In the dry, you would not be able to make that move around the outside. I mean, it'd be very, very difficult. But, Casper Roos getting a little squirrely on the exit there. I think just clipping those puddles here and there just throws the cars off a little bit. A lot of spray coming off, a lot of wet on the track. But you can see those dry patches. They're both favouring that inside line. Neither wanted to go further to the outside to carry that extra speed through. I mean,
Do
Joseph
they want
Lopez
to?
here. Oh,
Do they
John
want to take
Johnson's
that
had
race?
a bit of
Another
a moment
meatball.
again.
Another
Yeah.
meatball flag for John Johnson. Had one in the first race, got one in the second race. We'll have to see if anything has happened there with him in a moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a bold prediction here and
Go for
say
it.
that John does not like the wet.
No, judging by when we joined him, he was facing the wrong way and hitting a wall. I don't think John likes the wet at all, and he's smacked the wall a bit out of rage again there by the look of it. John, come on, don't take it out on the walls, mate. I'm only messing. No, that's unfortunate for John there, picking up his second meatball flag of the evening, putting himself back into the pit. John, watch yourself on that pit exit though, mate. Don't speed. Don't
Rick
speed.
Wishon, though, catching up a lot. I mean, look how much everyone has caught up to Alex now. I don't know if Alex has had a couple little moments or is struggling a little bit out there on his own. It's odd how the drivers seem to be, yeah, not favouring that sort of clean air. They like to be working as a group, getting slipstream off each other and sort of pushing each other to go a bit quicker.
No, it seems that they are fighting a lot closer together in this second race, Jim, compared to how they were in the first race. We've seen a lot more of the yellow and orange times, which is obviously half a second, and the tenth of a second in there, giving you that time difference. We've seen a lot more of that this race and not spread out as much. There's a lot more fighting, but like I said, there's a lot more position changes in this race than there was compared to the first one. So everyone's a little bit all over the gaff.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a crazy one. Paul Brown though, now he's caught up to yeah, he's getting a bit of time. Actually, he's only 3 seconds off of Lee. I've just realised the yeah, he wasn't the 12 seconds off. Lee's 12 seconds off the car in front of him. So we might see a little bit of a battle between Paul and Lee as the race goes on. Maybe a bit more towards the end. He does seem to be gaining pretty quick on him at this point, so we'll see how it goes. Paul
You got
Brown
Paul
sitting
and
at
Lee. Well,
129.7, Lee with a 130.1, so 0.4 of a second. It's going to be
not much
tough
in
to
it.
catch up. There's not much in it, but it's enough that you might be able to get there if Lee makes a little mistake here and there or something. Jack Veazey and Alex Kublis, Rick Wishon, Andrea, Phil, all battling together here. And who's that at the back as well? Is that Phil just hanging on at the back, still battling with? Oh, sorry, yeah, it's
But
Andrea that was getting a little bit of a wobble on behind Rick there. Sorry, it's difficult to tell
yeah,
the liveries under the
Andrea's in the
rain.
black. Andrea's in the black.
Yeah, I know which one it is, but when you look at it like that, it's like, which one's the black one?
The one with the headlights, Jim. The one with the headlights. But no, it's such a close battle at the top here between these 5 cars. There is not much in it at all. Phil Giles just at the back of this set of 5 here. But look how close it is. Like you said, Alex Kublis, he has dropped some time. He had just had about a second and a half when we checked on him earlier. He's now down to less than a tenth and a half almost, with Jack Veazey chasing him down there. Will Alex be able to keep hold of this lead? Obviously, Rick Wish on there as well. We know he's fast.
Oh,
Andrea, we
big
know
hit
he's
of the
fast.
wall there. Sorry, Rick Wishon really hit
No,
the wall hard there. That's going to slow him down a little bit. Doesn't look like he has major damage, but it'd be interesting to see. Oh, it's very squirrely coming out of there. I think that's
drops him down
scuffing
to
him a little bit.
P5. Drops him down a few positions.
Yeah, I want to see how straight his wheel is in the straight line.
No,
Yeah,
it seems like he's
going
okay.
straight. Yeah, I don't think he got wheel damage from that one because that might have put him a little bit out of line. But
No,
he'll
we
be able
haven't
to
seen any
catch up.
crabbing. No crabbing from him just yet. Maybe if he hits it again like that, he got a bit lucky that time. But no, anything could happen. And there you go. Jack Veazey is currently now sitting in P1 and got himself half a second already, pretty much on Alex Kublis.
Yeah, look at them all drifting as well coming out the bus stop. They are pushing those cars hard in the wet. It's yeah, I mean, I'm amazed that they are still grouped up given how much battling was going on. And you can see each of them constantly eager to get the move done and like, oh, bloody hell, diving on the Phil
You got
diving on
Phil
the inside
Giles.
there. Phil, I don't know
Phil,
what's been in Phil's Weetabix this morning, but he is looking for a fight today, isn't he?
I think Phil might be thinking he's a pro for this race here because he's having a fight that he doesn't need to have up here. But at the same time, I respect it. You do not want to be at the back of these 5 and watch them all disappear off without you. Get yourself in the mix. Just don't affect your race.
I mean, you say he thinks he's a pro in this race. I'd argue he was fighting hard with Jack and putting the moves on him and giving him a good run for his money. And arguably Jack winning the most races so far this season. I think Phil is driving like a pro today. I mean, maybe some of the moves aren't the most sensible, but they do look the most fun. And he's definitely getting his money's worth in this league. I mean,
And I'll tell you what, Jimmy, that's helping me with my am driver today pick. I know that. Guys,
literally just about to ask you the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, guys at home, let us know as well. You got 5 minutes. Let us know who your driver of the day is for tonight's racing so far, and we'll get that one done before the end of the race here tonight. Just to remind absolutely everybody, Jim, let everybody know how we're standing here today so far.
Yeah, so Jack Veazey currently leading the way in P1, followed by Alex Kubelis in P2. And then Phil Giles leading the AMs in P3, followed by Andrea Magli in P4. Then we've got Rick Washon behind him, and Lee Martin as well, a bit further back down the field, with Paul Brown just behind him as well. Then we've got next in the AMs, so a big gap between Phil and the rest of them there. Phil is having a great race, but Robert Barber just behind Paul Brown, and then we've got Casper Roos behind Robert Barber there, with Joseph Lopez a bit further back, and then John Johnston is just letting everyone by quite sensibly at the back of the field just there. So just about getting lapped, and I think if John is not enjoying the rain, he'll probably be enjoying that he might have to do a lap less than everyone else.
Silver lining and all that, Jimmy. Yeah.
We got Andrea though looking to make the move on the inside on Phil there, so they are battling very, very hard. The problem is, I think there's battling. I mean, they're still within the slipstream a little bit, but Alex Kubelis is just falling just that little bit further back behind Jack. Jack is starting to run away with it a little bit. I think Andrea's really going to want to make those moves done, get ahead of Phil as soon as he can, because
just can't get it done just at the minute though. Just can't get it done. Phil is holding his own up there in P1 for the AMS, P3 overall, and I think he wants to keep it, Jimmy, like you said.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an AM and then you're P3 overall on pace, I mean, you're going to be very, very happy with that situation.
I'm gonna call for a martial investigation on Phil Giles. I just want to know what his rating is here, Jim, just to make sure he has been ranked appropriately, because this is an absolute phenomenal drive for him tonight.
Yeah, just in that 5-minute break, he's just popped out, given Max Verstappen a little ring, asked him to pop round, and just sit in his rig, and then just, you know what, battle your little heart out, son. And
battle your little heart out, son. Absolutely love that. But no, Jimmy, we're 18 minutes into this race.
Look at that move on Alex Kubelis here. He's going up to P2 overall. What is this man doing? I absolutely love it.
Come on, Phil. Absolutely love it. Absolutely loving that. He's had a brilliant drive.
I know I'm not picking the AM driver of the day today, but
I know who you would pick.
I know who I'd pick. I know who I'd pick. Go 3 wide through the main straight. I think Andrea just having to back out a little bit. A little bit of door banging from Phil and Alex there, but no harm, no foul, I'd say, at this point. I mean, they might be going 4 wide. Are they going to go 4 wide? Or are they
Please go 4 wide.
Andrea is pushing. Andrea is pushing Phil to kind of go
Andrea's getting
ahead.
pushed. Alex is wobbling over the place at the start of that turn there. Phil Giles, though, has put himself up, Jimmy, to P2 now. P2 proper with a little bit of a gap. Half a second nearly there.
I'm loving this. I'm loving this. Sorry, I realised I was just watching rather than commentating at the moment there. But
yeah, Phil Giles, indeed, what was on your Weetabix? I am looking forward to asking him afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what he's got to say for himself, because yeah, if he's got that Dutch accent when he gets on the interview, we're gonna have to have words. But,
it's Max sitting in his room.
But no, I mean, Alex and Andrea, they're going to be battling for that P2 now. I think Jack's just able to pull away a little bit too much, and they're just going to have to ignore the fact that Phil's there, because Phil is not going to give them it easy. So it's going to be down to these two to work together to try and fight. You can see them all favouring different lines there, and that outside line getting so close to that wall seems to be the quicker line, but yeah, I don't think it's going to work quite for Andrea.
Right.
Oh, Phil is a pro.
Jimmy,
Phil's a pro.
The marshal has just told us Phil Giles is a pro. He's not actually an AM.
Oh, so hyped to see an AM kind of up there battling with the pro.
I thought we were getting like a proper movie type of story here with Phil Giles with that great ending. The marshal has absolutely ruined it for us.
Can I
Phil,
just throw something out there, though?
Go on.
Phil's a pro, so I'm picking driver of the day, aren't I? for the pros. That's made my choice easy. There you go. Now you do what you got to do.
I will do what I've got to do. Obviously, we are at that 20-minute mark. I haven't just been watching Phil Giles, who we now know who is a P2 overall, P2 for the pros. So There you go. I was really hoping he was an am there as well. I wish I wasn't.
I know. You want that kind of like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you do. But no, Rob Barber down in
Rick and
P8.
Alex there, and a little bit bumpy and a bit spinny there. Sorry, Karen.
No, absolutely. Call it as you see it, Jimmy. But no, I was just going to say Rob Barber, now officially known, always officially was. Sorry, wish I'm picking up a meatball flag there. See what happened with him a moment ago. But Rob Barber sitting a P8 on track, P1, Jimmy. Got himself a nice little gap to the car ahead, and nice little gap to the car behind. Can't really see much going wrong for him now in the last few minutes of this race. But Rob Barber's sitting at P1, full your AMs. P2 with Casper Roos sitting just behind him with Joseph Lopez in P3. And it looks like we've lost John Johnson sitting down in the pits.
Yeah, I don't think he was enjoying the the wets particularly. So
No, absolutely not.
I don't blame him at the end of the day. But let's see what happened here.
So what's happened? So yeah, Rick comes around the front of Alex Cubulus here.
And then he gets tapped by Andrea. I don't think either that was their fault particularly. I mean, it's just hard racing. But then
is that what made him pick up the meatball flag? Because I can't really see that causing that.
I think that that first tap might have done a bit of damage, and then when Andrea went into the back of his car, I think he might have hit that rear wheel and just dented it in.
Yeah, no, just been confirmed. It had that. That's what caused it, Jim.
Oh, such a silly little
Oh, Rick, you won't want to be coming into the pits, but you're gonna have to, son.
Oh, he's got 3 laps before you have to come in for a meatball, so he might be able to make it just to the end because we've got 3 minutes to go. So about 2, potentially 3 laps. And he might have to pit on the last lap, I think.
Yeah, stay out for as long as you can. Just see what happens.
So close to that wall. That outside line is so sketchy. I mean, it's definitely risk reward with going for that line because it does seem to be a lot quicker. But
it's really made you clench a few times today, hasn't it? That one.
It really does.
Especially that one with Jack Veazey earlier.
Yeah, I mean that was a good fight. I mean, regardless of if Phil's a pro or an am, that was a good fight that he was putting down there.
There you go, Jimmy. But we have a couple of little gaps now across the top of the leaderboard. Jack Veazey's got himself still in P1 with the pro Phil Giles behind him, about 1.5 seconds in it now. So Jack's got himself a nice little gap. We know he's quick. We were talking about it at the midway point of the break, and there we go. But no, Phil Giles sitting just behind him with Andrea in P3. There's a gap now between the 3 of them. You got Alex Cubulus. He's chasing down Andrea though. At the moment, trying to get himself that last podium position for the pros. Rick's dropped down about a second, just over a second now behind Alex. But he's obviously got that meatball as well, so that's going to be in the back of his mind. So the only one I can see out here possibly making anything happen is possibly Alex if he can catch up Andrea, but we'll have to see what happens with that one. But Jimmy, we've hit that 20-minute mark, so real quick, who is your pro driver of the day?
It's got to be Phil. It's got to be Phil. Anyone else would just be a yeah. I think it would do Phil a disservice there because I mean Andrea has had a phenomenal getting P1 in the first race, P3 in the second race, but it's got to be Phil. I mean that battle, beautiful, just millimeters of room, really putting the pressure on, getting that gap done, and like yeah, he's just been driving phenomenally.
No, absolutely, mate. Got to agree with you. And he was my driver today when we thought he was an am because it was an absolute great am underdog story almost. But no, I'm going to give my driver of the day to our man that's sitting in P1 for the AMs at the moment, Rob Barber. Look, he's had a couple of incidents today, but he's shown some strong, resilient driving. Got himself back up there and got himself in the positions that he needs to. And yes, he might be P8 out on track today. He's not had the best night, but it's P1 in the AMs. I've got to give it to him. So mine's going to Rob Barber of the AMs tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he had a perfect race, but he's kept it clean, kept it consistent, kept out of trouble. And yeah, so this is everyone crossing the line here. So we've got Jack Veazey just about to come around the final corner, quickly followed by Phil Giles just behind him. I mean, Phil
got himself a second in that last lap, but I don't think he's going to give himself enough time to do anything as Jack Veazey's coming down the line here towards
There you go, little wiggle. Are they going to give us a little blast as well? No, just little wiggles across the line, little wiggles further back. So
Phil Giles in P2. No, take it away, Jim.
P3, Alex Cubulus P4, Rick Wishon didn't have to serve the penalty because he still had those 3 laps before the end, so he comes across the line in P5. Then we got a little bit of a gap further back to Lee Martin, just coming around the corner there, and coming across the line in P6, with Paul 4 seconds behind him in P7. Then we've got Robert Barber leading the way in the AMS, P1 in his division. Should be very, very happy with that result. And yeah, it comes across the line there. Then we've got Casper Roost and Joseph Lopez just a little bit further behind. And then Casper Roost coming across the line for P9. You can see Joseph coming around the corner there behind him for P10, with John Johnston out on track as well, getting those extra laps in. Going around the last couple corners here. And just as that rain starts to pick up, you can see it come back in there just at the end. Couple little dents on that bumper, but you know what? He made it to the end. He went back out there, kept on racing. Credit where it's due. Well done, John. And that is all 11 drivers for this evening. Great battles. Oh, I love a wet race. Draft tracks, again, great to watch. It just keeps everyone bunched up together. I mean,
No,
what a race.
it really, really does that. And there you go, Jimmy. All your final results there up on the screen. So just one last time for everybody. That is your overall race winner, Jack Veazey, P1. Won the first race. No, sorry, came P2 in the first race, run the second race here today, followed by Phil Giles in P2, Andrea in P3, Alex in P4, Rick in P5, Lee Martin in P6, Paul Brown in P7, Rob Barber P8 on track, P1 for the AMS today, followed by Casper Roos in P2, Joseph Lopez in P3, and John Johnson in P4. That's 11th, 10th, 9th, and 8th, respectively. What a race, Jim, and that rain really did make it interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you can't beat it, can you? It made it so much more interesting. Added some like crazy little events going on. We thought we had that battle with an AM just flying past everyone there, but no, he is a pro. Phil is a pro. Just mislabeled on our sheet there, which is yeah,
No,
not to take
definitely.
away from that, but yeah, he had a great race there. I mean, a great race from everyone. Like everyone's kind of battling all the way through that, all through the field, and then
Yeah,
John
top to
pursuing
bottom.
his way to the end. You got to give him credit for that. I mean,
Really doesn't
beautiful
like that wet.
start to
Really
finish
doesn't
for
like
everyone.
that wet race.
No, I mean some people. I mean, like you said at the start. I mean, you're not a fan of a wet race, and they are
Hate
a
them.
little bit tricky.
Hate them
And
more than Monday morning at work, Jim. Hate them more than Monday morning at work. But look, shall we speak to a couple of these guys? Shall we find out how they're feeling after this race?
yeah, I think we've got a few of them waiting in that interview room. So yeah, let's bring in. Should we bring in Andrea for the first interview?
Yes, bringing Andrea. So he finished P1 in the first race and P3 in the second race. Andrea, congratulations. Good evening. You had a good night tonight. How you doing, fella?
Good evening, guys. I'm doing fine. And you guys?
Doing very, very well, my mate. Thank you. Jimmy, you all good still?
Yeah, I'm absolutely fabulous. I mean, what a show you guys put on for us this evening.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys if you enjoyed the show we put today.
Yeah, mate, it was a really, really good show that you guys put on for us all over the grid today. There was so much going
Yeah,
on, lots of
absolutely.
racing
Yeah.
between you guys, and there was just so much to keep up on and watch up on, mate. But no, you had a great race there at the end. Didn't quite get yourself up to back into the P1, P2 spots as to where you have been the last couple of weeks in that second race, mate. But still, with the drivers in front of you, that must have been a hard task, especially in this weather. But P1 and P3 today, mate, great results.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I'm really happy. Race one was really interesting. I mean, I was able to break the toe, go away. I trained, practiced a lot, and I've seen the guys behind get stuck in or take those strange lines. You have to get used to them. That was the advantage I had. And race two, it was impossible. I mean, with the spray and everything, you can't see anything.
No, it's one of them. We said it, Jimmy, didn't we, about the visibility when the rain's tough out on track. It does make it a lot harder.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, when we cut to the cameras on it, I think we've changed it up a little bit so it's a bit easier for people at home to see. But when you're actually in those cars, you're just racing blind when you're right behind someone.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't see any of the braking references, and that's the whole point of it. You have to have some strong references, strong lines to get used to that. And hot lapping without anyone doesn't help when you're in such scenario. Yeah.
No, absolutely, mate. Absolutely. Look, mate, we're not going to keep you for too long. We're going to love you and leave you. We're going to let you get going. Before we do, though, mate, anyone you want to give a shout out to or say thank you to before we do let you go?
Yeah, today a special congrats to Jack. I mean, seeing him go through the field at on race 2, it was really impressive. Congrats to him.
Congrats, mate. Congrats. And again, congratulations to yourself as well, mate. Look, we'll potentially catch up with you then next week, well, mate. You have a good week, all right?
Yeah, you too, guys. Thank you. See you next week. Bye-bye.
See you in a bit, mate. See you in a bit. Right. Jimmy, I am going to bring in a moment somebody else, but we have had some breaking news here in the booth. I'm sure you're fully aware of what I'm about to say. Phil Giles is actually, in fact, an AM. He is not a pro. So Phil Giles was the winner for the pros in that second race, which drops Rob Barber down to P2 and Casper Roos down to P3, just knocking Joseph Lopez off. Let's get him in here.
We got our movie moment. We got our movie moment.
We got our movie moment. That was phenomenal. We're going to get him in here. Phil Giles, first of all, thank you for that race, that second race alone. That was absolute brilliance. Good evening, sir. P1 in the AMS, finally established because we got it a little bit mixed up. We got a bit of misinformation about which class you were in. How are you feeling, mate? That was a great race.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, I'm over the. I can't even believe it, to be honest, because I was only a few hours ago saying to the missus that Jack is like an incredible driver with 7,000 I rated, smoked everybody last week, and I think he smoked people round 1 as well. But to finish half a second behind him, my missus isn't going to believe me when I talk to her a bit later on.
There's video proof.
Show her the video.
There is video proof, and we've got it here for you, and we stuck on board with it, mate. You were absolutely phenomenal out there. I think one of us said at one point it was like the underdog style movie, the AM breaking into the pros, and you were just taking them all out. And when we first thought that you was an AM, because we got told you was a pro at one point. When we first thought you was an AM, we was like, oh my god, he's up in P3. He's not giving up. He's not giving up the spot. He's going to keep it. And then, oh god, he's fighting here for P2. What is he doing? He's having a race. He doesn't even need to. Mate, you gave us some brilliant racing out there. So thank you very much for that one.
You're welcome. I wasn't sure if, as an AM, if gaining a position on the track means anything or not. But once a racer, always a racer. It's like there's a car in front, so I want to be in front of him, and then there's a car in front of him. I want to be in front of him.
That is the perfect mentality that I love to hear, and that we love to have here racing Sanzo Racing Group with us. But no, mate, that is absolutely brilliant. Look, we're not going to keep you for too long, my mate. There on that one. Jimmy, I don't know if there's anything else you want to ask before we do let him go.
I mean, we talked about the broadcast, like, what was in your breakfast this morning? Because that was, I mean, you were just flying in that race. We generally thought you might be able to get Jack if you had another lap at the end there. I mean, I haven't got any questions. I think it's just like...
there was a couple of sections I just couldn't quite get right consistently. If I could nail every sector, which is the name of the game, I probably could have got a little bit closer to him and maybe had a sniff. But yeah, Jack's, I'm sure Jack was controlling it. I'm sure he'd got a little bit in the bag. No, I know what Jack's like. We've seen him, haven't we?
Yeah, well, we'll speak to Jack in a moment. He's a very, very quick lad. But look, Phil, thank you for giving us that bit of a brilliant race in there and that bit of a story for that race, man. That was great to watch. So thank you.
Thank you, Jake. Thanks for your time. I'm going to go watch this on the big screen down in my lounge.
Before you go though, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to before you head off?
Thanks to the missus for allowing me to disappear on a Sunday night to do this with you guys.
There you go. Tell her you gave us that great movie experience tonight with your race.
Fantastic. Thank you, gents. Keep up the good work.
See you later, mate. Bye.
Yes, bye.
So, what a great story that is, mate. What a great story.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone loves an underdog story, and then for him to just pop out of nowhere and just battle it up with the pros. I mean, all the pros were like that. I mean, that little gaggle of cars at the end there, all 5 of them were phenomenal. But yeah, we got a couple more people for the interview. Should we bring in Jack next and have a little chat with him?
No, I think we're. We are getting Jack in with us first. Jack, P2 in the first race, P1 in that second race, coming all the way from the back to the front again. Something we are very, very used to seeing you doing in previous weeks, and doing it again this week, mate. How you doing? And good evening.
Yeah, not bad, guys. How are you?
Very well, thank you, mate. Very well. Some great racing tonight. Some real difficult racing for you guys by the look of it in that rain. How did it affect you, mate? How'd you get on with that one then? Clearly quite well. We're speaking to you again in P1 position.
Yeah, I weren't sure if it was going to rain in the race or not, but as soon as it was wet in quali, because practice it was dry all throughout practice, and then qualify loaded, and then it was raining. So
Literally that second it loaded in, didn't it? We saw it. It just started immediately for you guys. But no,
yeah,
you had another great race tonight, mate. Like rain or shine, you prove yourself each and every week.
yeah.
P2 in the first race, and not quite what we used to see with you because you normally P1 both of them. Andrea quite quick in that first one. Anything you can remember from that one? Why you couldn't really get that move done on him?
Yeah, he just had the pace on me, or more so, we were like doing the same sort of lap times, so I couldn't bridge the gap. Which
There's
is
nothing to gain in there for you.
yeah, I couldn't. He was quick in that first race, and yeah, just couldn't catch up. So that's all that was.
No, fair enough. But again, mate, finish it off another P1. You gotta be happy with that one. Look, we're not going to keep you for too long, though, mate. We're going to let you go, let you chill out. Anyone you want to say thank you to or give a shout out to before we do let you go in?
Yeah, just friends and family watching, and I'm streaming on Twitch. So shout out to Cole Ram and Antonio who are watching me on Twitch. So
there you go. Good evening, gent. Good evening. But no, I can check out that one, mate. But no, go get yourself off. Have a good one, mate, and we'll probably speak to you again next week, I would imagine.
Okay, cheers. See
you later, mate. Have a good one.
Yeah, bye.
Right,
Jimmy, we got one more.
Time. We got one more, and it's the guy that I absolutely love speaking to each and every time we do. He brings so much energy, but watch him be absolutely dead from it today because he had a lot of racing to do. Let's get Casper Roos in here, shall we? Casper, always a pleasure to speak to you, my mate. P3 in both races this evening. How you doing?
I'm doing good. It's yeah, that was my first wet race, and it went really well until it really didn't. But it was fun to try out.
No, well, you done really well, mate. You got P3 in both races tonight, so nothing to turn your nose up at all, mate. But first wet race, that must have been a bit of a difficult one then for you. It's not the easiest of tracks that one to do in the wet.
Yeah, no, and also you have to unlearn what you usually know with trying to always stay off the normal racing line because it's going to be too wet, and then while trying to fight other cars that aren't used to racing in the wet as well. But I figured a few things out, and I had a good last lap with Joseph on the first race. That was fun.
Yeah, no, we caught a bit of that, and that was some pretty good driving between the pair of you there. But no, mate, you had, again, like I said, you had another great week. P3 in both podium positions. Nothing to turn your nose up at there, mate. It was wet conditions. You're not used to it. Great results, mate, all around, I'd say. I'm pretty sure that you're hoping for a dry race next race.
Definitely hoping for a dry race, and definitely hoping to maybe catch a bit of the momentum going into tomorrow as well.
There you go, mate. Well, we've spoken to you a few times. Now on Sundays and Mondays, actually. So you never know. We might be speaking to you again tomorrow. But no, for this one, mate, well done again. Going to let you go. But before we do let you go, anyone you want to say thank you to or give a shout out to?
Just a shout out to you guys for doing the broadcast, and a shout out to my cousin who just got, I don't know what it's called in English, but confirmation, what we call it in Denmark.
Okay, I'm not too sure on that one off the top of my head when we've.
What does that? What does that roughly
probably
mean?
call it a teenage christening.
Okay. Okay. I think I know what you mean. Confirmation, yeah. But sorry, last thing I expected to be talking about during a Sunday night race. That's what you always give us something interesting to talk about and to think about, my friend. Look, I'm going to let you go and we'll catch up with you tomorrow night. All right, mate?
All right.
See you later, mate. See you later. Good racing, Jimmy. Good racing tonight.
Yeah.
I think you can agree with me on
show.
that one. Absolutely brilliant. I am a fan of the wet race. I really am. I know the drivers aren't so much. It takes so much out of them. It requires so much more skill and precision and paying attention the way I see it. This is why I say well clear of them. Like I just can't do it, mate. But
yeah, you don't get a moment to relax in a wet race, do you?
No, you don't, Jimmy. You don't indeed. But Jim, sadly, that is it for us. That's going to be the checkered flag from us here at Watkins Glen, and it's going to be the checkered flag from us here at Trackside. So I just want to say thank you to everyone at home for chatting along with us this evening. Thank you for joining us. And I want to say thank you, Jimmy, as always, for having me sitting side by side next to you in the booth each and every week.
It's a pleasure, guys. But yeah, thank you for that, guys. And yeah, treated to another absolutely quality race this evening. And yeah, that is us. Oh, that is it here from Watkins Glen this evening. Next week we're headed over to Monza for our special endurance race of the season. So we're going to step away from the 2-race format for one evening, and we're just going to have one long 45-minute race. And yeah, I mean, Watkins Glen, great draft track. Monza is the draft track. It's a special layout as well, so stay tuned for that one. It should be good fun. Yeah, before I sign off, just want to thank everyone at Tanza Racing Group again for hosting us, and thank you all at home for being here and supporting your favourite drivers. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we shall catch you on the next one. Good night.